Lost Reality are going to be here next season. Cube Queen is going to bring a bunch of evil creatures. We've got the Monoliths and Serenade ready to summon the Lost Reality. And the secret warriors are here on the map, Triarch Nox and Herald. And the only person that might help us that knows everything about the Lost Reality, because he was the ruler, the king, his name is Origin. To understand this, we have to go all the way back in chapter 3, season 2. I'm giving away 10 battle pass next season. If you want to win, like this video, subscribe, and comment down below your epic ID name. If you want to help me out, please use code SMJM. Origin was introduced to us in chapter 3 as a member of the Seven, but the Origin has a dark past that lots of people don't know about. You see, the Origin has 3 different forms: the member of the Seven, the prisoner of the Imagined Order, and the Cube King. Origin used to be called the Cube King, the ruler of the Lost Reality. He used to have all of the powers the Cube Queen has now. He still has some of the powers. If you look at his skin, you can see the purple flame on his body, but his skin is now blue instead of purple. You only have purple skin if you have the power of the cubes. This is the version of the Cube Queen without the power of the cubes. And we don't really know if the Cube Queen is Origin's wife, but we know that she used to work under him. Cube Queen was very clever. She pretty much did everything for the king. Lost Reality's mission is to take over all realities. The only reality they have not been able to get is the Reality Zero, the Fortnite island. See, the Cube King wanted to take over realities by earning people's respect, but the Cube Queen had other plans. He told Origin that the only way to take over realities is by being ruthless. And we saw what her plan was. During the Lost Reality event, she corrupted the entire island and tried to destroy the Reality Zero. Origin said no to the Cube Queen. This is when she convinces the Council of the Lost Reality to remove Origin as the Cube King, and she is willing to replace him. And they all agreed. She goes and tells the Cube King. He refuses to move. This is when the Cube Queen attacks Origin. In the loading screen, you can see the Origin being attacked by this blue beam of light, and we know that the Cube Queen has this blue power on her body. The Lost Reality was very impressed by the Cube Queen. They loved how ruthless she was. She did not care anything about anyone else except for the survival of the Lost Reality. After losing his power, the Origin was kicked out of the Lost Reality, and because he used to be the enemy of the Fortnite island, having no one to protect him, he is captured by the Imagined Order. The Origin was very clever. He was finding different ways to escape, but he tells Imagined Order that he wants to help, tells them he knows everything about the Lost Reality, and he's willing to give all of the information. Basically, he was trying to trick them, making them think he's working for the IO, and they believe him. He's not a prisoner anymore. But to gain their trust, he has to give them something. He does help them during chapter 2, season 7. There was a giant mothership hovering over the Fortnite island, and a bunch of alien races was on the island looking for the 0 point. And this was the perfect time for Origin to prove his fake loyalty to the Imagined Order, and especially gain Dr. Sloan's trust, because even though Jenna was the head of the Imagined Order, Dr. Sloan was the person who controlled everything. Origin tells Dr. Sloan everything about the cubes, about different rooms in the mothership, and especially the room where they have kept all of the cubes. That's why during the live event, we knew exactly where to go while we're in the ship. The mothership blew up. Everything that was inside of the mothership was now on the island. Chapter 2, season 8, the whole island is corrupted, cubes everywhere, and the Cube Queen is on the map. And this was the perfect time for the Origin to make his escape when everyone was distracted. But to escape the Imagined Order's headquarters is very difficult. There are just too many guards and cameras, so the only way to escape is with the help of someone on the inside. Yes, he did get help from someone who was part of the Imagined Order, who was also an imposter. And we don't really know who this person is. We believe it might be Singularity, because we know that Singularity worked with Paradigm whilst building the robot to fight against the monster, and we know Paradigm is part of the Seven. Maybe at some point Paradigm convinces Singularity that what the Imagine Order trying to do is not good. After escaping, the Seven finds the Origin, asks him to join the Seven. Now I believe this was the Seven's plan all along. I think as soon as they heard that the Imagine Order has Origin, they understand how valuable Origin can be just because he used to be the Cube King and he knows everything about the last reality. Maybe the Foundation told Paradigm to convince Singularity to help him, because what are the odds that after escaping, the Seven knew exactly where the Origin was? The Foundation convinces the Origin to join the Seven. Seven gives him a new suit and he's been given a new name, the Origin. Chapter 3 Season 2 is here. There is a huge battle between the Imagine Order and the Seven. Ever since Origin joined the Seven, he's been trying to convince the Seven to stop fighting the Imagine Order. He keeps telling them that the Imagine Order is not the enemy. They need to focus on the last reality, or else everything could end. The only way they can defeat the last reality is by working with Imagine Order. They all ignore him and the battle continues. They find out that the Imagine Order are creating this collider device. The only way to destroy this device is by using a robot that they used during the monster event. And the only person that knows how to pilot this robot is Paradigm. But for some reason at first, the Foundation and the Seven refused to work with Paradigm. You see, the Paradigm was actually kicked out of the Seven. We think it's because during the Catus versus Robot event, the Paradigm uses the 0 point power to defeat Catus the monster, exposing the 0 point. That was the first time the 0 point was exposed, and a lot of people found out the power of the 0 point. And there has been so many problems ever since then. Seven believes that was a very careless move and they kicked Paradigm. The scientist somehow manages to convince the Seven and Origin, and they do, and the collision event happens and they defeat the Imagine Order. And we get the vibing season. Everyone is celebrating, including the Seven, but the Origin is still worried. He senses that something is not right. And he was correct, because the last reality has been watching and they're going to make a move. They send Herald, possesses the power of the Chrome. At first, she creates a reality tree. And using the power of the 0 point, the tree spreads its branches around the Fortnite map, connecting every single location to the tree. And she does this without the knowledge of the Seven. And when we get Chapter 3 Season 4, we start to see Chrome appear on the map, especially around the Sanctuary area. The Origin is very concerned that they managed to get few samples while they were experimenting. Herald attacks. It looks like the Chrome only attacks when Herald is around. One by one, they start to get covered in this Chrome substance. First, the scientist gets completely covered in Chrome and he starts melting. And after this, it's time for the Origin. He starts getting covered in Chrome as well. He tells Paradigm to run. It's an order. He starts melting as well. Herald uses the reality tree, which is connected to every location on the map. She turns everything into Chrome and then destroys the Fortnite island. In Chapter 4, Amy the AI creates a portal because she wants to find the scientist and the rest of the Seven. After finding the location, she says scientists and the rest of the Seven are very different now. But she uses the rift to go save the Seven. Now, I believe when Herald kidnapped the Seven, including the Origin, are imprisoned by the last reality. We know that Amy transforms into this robot that appeared on the map in Chapter 1. If you look at his loading screen that we received in Chapter 1, by the way, he was looking for something or maybe someone. Does this mean that the last reality has taken them to Chapter 1? I think we're gonna find this either next season. I believe Amy is going to save the Seven, bring them back to this reality. Now that we know that the last reality are going to attack yet again, it was revealed by Thunder, and we know that the last reality warriors like Triarch Nox and Serenade are here. Now there is no Imagine Order, and Seven don't have a base on this island. The only person that can help us is someone that knows everything about the last reality, someone that knows how to defeat them because they used to be them. Now I believe he will save us. I am talking about the origin.